I want to turn our attentions now, Nika, to a little bit of WNBA basketball. Yes, you heard me correctly. We are going to talk about women's hoops for the first time ever on the Kanika Sports Show because Saturday, the whole sports world got overtaken by this big Caitlin Clark flagrant foul on Angel Reese in the middle of the Chicago Sky and Indiana Fever game. I got that all right, by the way.
Ooh.
So I'm learning my WNBA team names and player names and everything. I got to be honest, before we even get this whole segment started, a couple things. I've never watched WNBA in my life. I think I've seen highlights, of course, but I couldn't even list off 5 players that have played in the WNBA before this. So
Fair enough.
Apologies. It's not an insult. It's just it was not my thing.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
College sports. I don't do it. Nika doesn't do it. We don't find that it offers us anything that we need here.
Well, we have so much other sports that we try to keep up. We don't have time, and there's just 2 of us. Come on.
100%. So, yeah, this is one of those things where I was just
we just needed to
taken
get
up in
this
the moment
story,
because as much as I don't watch this, I do know basketball. I do know Caitlin Clark. I do know that she is like the savior of basketball for the WNBA right now. And I also know a little bit about Angel Reese, though not as much. I know that she played for LSU, and I know that these 2 ladies have played each other in championship game in the NCAA.
So they have a history together.
They have a history together.
Okay.
Before I get started, this whole situation totally reminds me of Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. I mean, if you can't see the similarities, you know, Caitlin Clark here is in her 2nd season in the league. Angel Reese, they played in the 2022 or 2023 championship game. So she couldn't have been in the league too much longer than Caitlin Clark has.
So maybe a year.
Right. So she's in about her 3rd year. So if you know anything about Bird and Magic, they came out together and they played in the NCAA championship game together, just like these 2 did.
I see the similarities then.
So,
okay.
And the only thing that's really different is like the cities that they play in. You know, Boston and LA were so far away, but Indiana and Chicago are kind of right next to each other. So there's already a little bit of a built-in rivalry just based on geographical location. So there's history there with these girls, and there's a rivalry, and now they're in the professional league, and there's talks that maybe Angel Reese is jealous because Caitlin Clark is looked at as the next up and coming thing, and she's not maybe included in that conversation as much. Anyways, all of a sudden we had this play start circling around social media. Let's take a listen. I faded out the audio a little bit partway through because we don't need it to talk about it, but it is there at the beginning. So whenever you're ready, Nika.
All right. And it's coming right up.
A 3. And look out, Caitlin Clark pushes Angel Reese, and Angel Reese gets right up into Caitlin Clark. Afterwards has something to say as Clark walks away.
Okay, you can pause it. So a couple things I wanted to point out here was this was a hard foul, and I'm a big fan of that. You know, like I'm not a fan of letting people have easy baskets. So when I first saw this, I was like, oh, this is a good hard foul in any basketball game, men's or women's. Like it shouldn't be considered out of bounds necessarily.
Okay, it's part of the game.
I was kind of surprised that this was changed, because if you let the video roll, you'll see they call Caitlin Clark for a flagrant foul after they review this play.
Okay, let's see.
But the bigger thing here is Angel Reese's reaction. She got hot. You know, she was lifting her jersey shirt up a little bit, kind of like, what is going on? Like, is she getting ready to fight? You know, like whenever I see someone trying to take their clothes off and they're coming at somebody, like I think they're about to start a fight with somebody. And so she looked like she was getting ready to start a fight here. And like I said, my phone blew up over this incident on Saturday night, and it's basically been talked about ever since. Every day, it's been a big ongoing story, and yeah, the parallels are really, really fascinating to Magic and Larry Bird here. You know, like it almost seems orchestrated. It almost seems like it was manufactured a little bit.
Well, I don't think you can manufacture a foul like this, but you can manufacture what comes before the game. You can ump it up.
Yeah,
the rivalry.
Well, which leads me to this. If you flip to the next slide, this was posted in The Athletic. It's unlocked. It's part of the New York Times. So take advantage of that whenever you get a free article from the New York Times, everybody. The paper of record is not free. But this article says that in the headline, you can see Fever versus Sky draws 2.7 million viewers, most viewed WNBA regular season game in 25 years.
Holy shit.
That is eye-opening, to say the least. A league that has generally been considered a laughingstock for most of my lifetime. And the Bill Burr joke is hilarious about the WNBA, where he basically blames women for not supporting the league that they begged into existence. Those are his words, not mine, by the way. But I think we've also seen a lot of WNBA stuff in the news where they feel like they're not paid fairly because they don't make as much as the men do. And one of the reasons why they don't is because their league doesn't make as much money. It loses money, in fact. It has been. But it seems like the corner is turning. And whenever you get somebody like me
turning on,
wondering like, hey, when do these two play each other again? And we'll talk about that in a minute. But you might be turning a corner when it comes to getting people to watch your product.
But do you think they have to keep up with this kind of a shenanigans just to get people watching, if that's the case?
Well, I don't. I think this is just kind of like a lucky coincidence that we've gotten to see this NCAA championship sort of rivalry kind of now spiral into their professional careers, much like Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. All right. So at the bottom of this, the opening paragraph says, there is one guarantee when Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese meet on a basketball court. People will watch.
Hello.
Yep. Guilty. The Indiana Fever's 93-58 win over the Chicago Sky last Saturday drew 2.7 million viewers on ABC. That set a record for the most viewed WNBA regular season game across ESPN networks and is believed to be the most viewed WNBA regular season game in 25 years since the era when NBC aired the WNBA. The game peaked at 3.1 million viewers. Saturday's contest continued the trend from last year when the WNBA had 22 regular season games that averaged more than 1 million viewers, the first time since 2008 that a WNBA game topped 1 million viewers. And as you can see here on this slide, it says Caitlin Clark's triple-double moves her into a tie for third most in WNBA history. I mean, Nika, I'm not a rocket scientist, but when you got a second-year player already with the third most triple-doubles in your league all time, I think, A, she's probably pretty good, and B, I can understand maybe why people might want to tune in and watch her.
Yeah, no kidding.
Okay, now this number got me. It says, since 12.3 million people watched LSU defeat Iowa in the 2023 National Championship game, viewers have flocked to watch Reese and Clark go head-to-head. At the time, the title game set a record for the most watched women's college basketball game in history. Last June, the Fever and Sky drew 2.25 million viewers for a CBS game, which at the time marked the WNBA's most watched game in 23 years. A Friday night game last September on ION between the two teams averaged 1.6 million viewers. The earlier game Saturday between the defending champion New York Liberty and Las Vegas Aces averaged 1.3 million viewers on ABC, so add another 1 million plus game to the WNBA ledger. And yeah, Nika, it does sound like since both of these ladies entered the league, the needle has started moving. But I want to point out that Caitlin Clark played in college basketball last year, and then like as soon as the season ended and she graduated, she became a professional basketball player and started playing with the Fever. Like there was literally
period.
like no break, like no off season for her last year. She literally like went from playing college basketball to immediately starting her professional career.
Is that normal?
I think it is in WNBA because of when their season starts. It's starting here, as you can see, at the end of May.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, colleges graduate typically like around the beginning of May. So if you're graduated and done and you got nothing to do, might as well go work.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, it is. It is kind of nice. And they have a lot less of a waiting period than like NFL draft picks who are now waiting months before they will actually get to taste the field.
Mm-hmm.
And those NBA draft picks, they're going to not even get drafted until June.
Yeah.
And they're not going to touch the court until November. So I thought that was interesting and worth pointing out. And so at the end of the article here, it just says the CBS broadcast network will be the beneficiary of the attention of this rivalry. The network will air 2 primetime matchups between the teams, the first on June 7th and the second on August 9th, both Saturdays. It has a legit shot at averaging 3 million viewers, which would be a massive number for the league. So, Caitlin Clark and
Angel Reese.
Thank you. Sorry. Bringing back the numbers here. I couldn't help when I was thinking about these two and comparing them to Magic and Bird. Someone else came along a little later after Magic and Bird, didn't they? And his name was Michael Jordan. Yeah. And he kind of became bigger than both of those players. And I'm just wondering, when I watch Caitlin Clark play, she reminds me so much of Larry Bird. She can shoot. She can pass really well. And she's kind of like mean out there a little bit.
She's got an attitude.
She's got a little bit of that
and
Larry
that's good.
Bird attitude. I
that.
like it. I love it. I'm not mad about it.
It's a physical game. You got to be able to have some attitude.
Yeah. It's about time the women brought this into their league. You know, I think they've been waiting for this kind of we need drama to be able to get connected into it, right?
Natural drama, not manufactured drama by the media.
Right.
That's two different things.
And when you watch this play and everything go down, I think it just shows you that this is a real rivalry, that it doesn't need anything extra added onto the Flames. You know, this is a basketball rivalry.
And keep it on the field. Keep it on the basketball field.
Yeah, definitely.
Court, not field, court.
Well, the field of battle, whatever. You know, it's the court. Yes, and it goes for all sports.
Yep.
You know, like I want the passion and the fire to be a part of these rivalries and these matchups. And
we see in baseball all the time. The bench is cleared out because something happened.
We just had rivalry weekend, and it was like
exactly
a big marketing thing, and we didn't see anything as heated as this in any of those games. I wish we would have, you know.
We saw some popes.
The bottom line is I think we should be clamoring for more of these types of rivalries and heated rivalries in sports. Like, this is what made the NBA so great in the 90s was
That's
the Bulls
what makes
Pistons, the Celtics Lakers, you know,
absolutely.
the Knicks and Bulls. Like, these were the matchups that made us tune in on every Sunday morning on the NBA on NBC.
This is the reason, since gladiators, since Roman times, people enjoyed, I don't want to call it violence, but physical interactions between two groups.
Physical competition.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
sure.
Thank you. And this is not different. They just get paid right now a lot of money and nobody dies.
Yeah, that does seem how it goes down a little bit.
Exactly. But it's enjoyable by the people. We have fans. People want to see this.
Yeah.
When you strip it without it, nobody watches it.
It's funny that you say that because I want to see this. I actually want to watch their next game against each other. And if you flip to the next slide, you can see the next time these two teams will meet, as we just said, was June 7th. Now, it says this is a Commissioner's Cup game presented by Coinbase. I'm not totally sure what the Commissioner's Cup is, but I'm going to do some research and I'm gonna find out what it is before we talk about WNBA basketball again. And
well, we might have to report it back now.
We definitely do. We're gonna watch this game for sure on Saturday, June 7th. So expect a report on like June 8th or 9th from us about what we saw and whether or not we're buying in completely to WNBA basketball. But I'm gonna start following over the next couple of weeks, and we're gonna report back.
That we will.